It's the 1 year anniversary. We've been doing this for 1 whole year, fellas. 1 whole year.
1 week at a time, though, not like for the full straight year. We haven't just been here.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's the DJ, the man, the brains behind the tomfoolery.
What
the brains behind my underwear.
And the man below me is
Blow you.
below me.
Blow me. Haywood.
The Bukkake Bandit himself, Bobby Jackfish.
Haywood, you blow me. You know
Keep
him.
it,
Everybody
keep it,
knows
keep
him.
it clean. We got a female in the room,
It's
fellas.
not- well, yeah. I mean, Frank, you're the one that went there.
Yeah, you're the one that said blow me, Bukkake
Yep.
Bandit.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
We've gone way off the rails
That's what
early on this one.
He introduced you as the Bukkake Bandit. Like,
He went right there.
by the way, new ring gimmick right
Listen,
there.
Frank's a wild card. He's a wild card. We've known that.
Yeah.
It's part of why I don't actually like him.
Oh,
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Who we got as a guest? Who's the 1 year anniversary guest?
We got
two
the
of them.
1 year. We do. We have two. We have co-guests. Yeah. So Jamie Stanley was on our show. How long ago was this?
About a month.
Was
or
it
so?
No, man, it was before we
Longer.
opened. So it was
Yeah.
probably April.
Yeah, with Kakoa
Wow.
talking about the House of Champions, which was a wrestling academy that was going to be opening in Orlando, Florida. Jamie and I met actually through, it was kind of a Christian meeting. It was, we used to call it Coffee for Jesus or Coffee with Jesus. That's actually where we first met. And then had them on the show, and then they opened their school, which was awesome. And I have had the pleasure of making it into the academy more than once. And that's where I met his lovely wife, Renee, who is with him tonight. And that is our co-guest. Say hello, Renee.
Thank you guys for having me. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
I was
We're
here
happy.
in spirit for the first one. I was sitting
Okay.
Yeah.
right there
She was-
off camera
Right here.
telling him what to
Okay.
say.
Yeah, she's feeding me all the links and the social media handles and all the.
Writing it
Yeah.
Telling you, man, she's the brains behind it.
Yeah, my wife does the same thing sometimes in our office here. A lot of times I need to be directed.
Exactly.
Not as often on this show, but other things for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, because this show has no direction, so it's
No.
It's not really needed here.
We get it off the rails as soon as we can. So then we want to make sure that anybody who listens or watches like that, they have low expectations.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to live up to them regardless. So
Arlo.
just if they start low and then stay low,
Stay
we're all
there.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under
All
promise.
right. So House of Champions has now been up and running how long?
4 months. We're in month 4. Yeah.
months.
Crazy.
4 months. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And
and
I mean, go ahead, Jamie.
I was
Go ahead,
just
please.
gonna say it feels like 4 months and 4 days and 4 years and 4 decades all at the same 4 minutes. You know, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just flown by, but it seems like we've been doing it forever now, and it's been a fun ride.
Cool. That's awesome. I mean, did you? So, I don't know, and this could be for either of you, but biggest surprise out of the whole thing, like what's the one thing, and you could each take take this question. The one thing that you didn't expect that has come to be that you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and defer to my better half.
Oh, okay. I would say the first thing that came to mind was our soft opening, which really it was just our opening. We were planning to do a grand opening after, but the soft opening was so great that I didn't want to risk not topping it.
Right.
So many people showed up and came out
Yeah.
in support. I think we had 110 people that signed up for our early VIP list that we were pushing in the beginning. And I remember saying, if we got 30, and they were all wrestlers, we're like, if we get 30 of them, we'll feel good,
Yeah.
knowing
And
that our
you eclipsed
conversion
it.
rate we had no idea what it would be, to be honest. We knew it wouldn't be like crazy high, but we ended up having 56 out of 110 show up to the soft opening over the course of 3 days. It was just incredible. And then out of those 56 that showed up, we left our soft opening weekend with 14 members, which was just like unbelievable. I think we had a goal of 10.
Yeah.
So we surpassed that. That's for me.
Yeah. No, I was gonna kind of go down along the same lines. Obviously, in the soft opening, all the wrestlers that were able to come out, but also the family and friends and people just supporting. But also just all throughout the process and the 4 months that we've been open, just the amount of just positivity and people wanting to help and people having ideas and advocating like I could do this, I could do that, and it is not in like a selfish way. It's in a like I love what you guys are doing. I want to help. I mean, especially with you, Bobby, you've been so great with, coming in, either sitting in on class or, advocating for like teaching or seminars or DDP yoga or all these crazy Metcons that you're trying to get me to do. I'm not. But yeah, just like people like we've got a lot of people on the roster that are wanting to come in and help and just like even run our guys through drills and train them and work on things and just the outpouring of love and support through the wrestling community, through the local community, through family and friends. Like we've been extremely blessed by that. And I didn't necessarily see that coming.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, for me, honestly, it's easy because the first day I came in and then every day I've come in since, the vibe doesn't change. It's the same. And it's such a positive vibe that like, I don't ever want it to change. Therefore, like anything, I like being there, man. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And that you can't say for every place, especially not every wrestling school.
No, definitely not. And we want it to be a place where people want to come and they feel like they're invited and, doors are open and they just feel like they're welcomed into a family atmosphere. So that's awesome that you enjoy coming and we love you being there. So anytime, obviously you're welcome. And we want people to feel that love.
We asked the first timers after their first class all the time, what'd you take away? Like, what'd you like about today? And I'd say 90% of the time it's like, there's just the vibe in here. Like, it's just cool. Like, it's fun. Like there's no pressure. A lot of them come in really nervous, but like the family, the family atmosphere and the support. And we had this vision of creating a culture, but you never really know what it's going to end up like until you launch it. And it's just been exactly the way we hoped it would be. Very positive, uplifting, exactly what you said. So I also am glad to hear you say that.
Yeah. And even more so like with the members, it's like they all hang out with each other. It really feels like a family. Like after training, we have to literally kick them out because they just be in there hanging out, the hours we're talking. And, we have people, we had the members over for 4th of July, Memorial Day. And, we went to SmackDown when they were in town and we're going to Volcano Bay in a few weeks. And it's like,
very cool.
We don't only just come and train together, but like we do life together. And a lot of the first timers, especially people that come from other schools, talk about how like the fun there is kind of forced and like you're told, well, this should be fun, but like here it feels authentic, and then they really feel like it's a team.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, boys. What do you think?
I think it sounds awesome. Sounds great.
It's one of one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I really think that you guys, you are very unique in a lot of ways, one of which we just touched upon about the culture and whatnot that you've created, but also, and I think we discussed it a little bit before when you guys were on, but what else I see different is just paying attention to the detail of recovery. And now I've indulged twice now there on the cold plunge, and I've done it before. But Frank, Dennis, cold plungers ever?
No.
Okay, Dennis.
Get you in there.
I mean, Frank.
You call me Frank.
Yeah, Well, or
Hopefully-
Pop-Tart. Or Pop-Tart. Before you guys came on, we were deciding nicknames for Frank, and Pop-Tart is what we came up with.
I like it.
And I hate Pop Tarts.
Yeah, that's why it's your nickname.
You hate
Hate
Pop
them?
Tarts.
Yeah. Well, you can't like your nickname. So
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
like
If you
Keiko's
like it.
favorite food.
Yeah. First of all, how
Yeah.
dare you hate Pop
Really? How dare you?
Tarts?
Is that Kakoa's favorite?
Yes, he won't shut up about
Really?
Pop Tarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has he seen the legendary like protein Pop-Tarts? They're called Legendary is the name of the company.
Oh,
No, I don't
Oh,
be into
you
that. He
got it.
wants the real deal, white,
Oh, really?
white flour.
full of sugar,
Yeah.
full of calories.
Okay.
Yeah, so he makes cookies that are kind of modeled after the crumble cookie like recipe, and like
Oh,
they're basically like mini cakes, basically. And he makes them like that. And one of his famous one is the wild berry Pop Tart cookie.
Ooh.
So that is it's like
You named him, you
All
branded him K Cookies.
Yep, cake cookies.
Okay. I like it. Listen, I'm not turning down a cookie.
I'm telling you,
I
man.
like cookies. But so back to business here. The focus on the recovery, and I think that you've had a lot of even just mainstream people realizing in this day and age how important the recovery is, and whether it be an ice bath or like cryo chambers. Like, I don't know how long they've been around, but there was definitely a time not too long ago where like nobody would ever do such a thing. That was, crazy. Where now I just think people are a little bit more informed, and they're getting after it. And you guys, you're the only wrestling school that I know of that has cold plunge.
Yeah, and I mean, a couple years ago, I would have been like, "You're crazy! I'm never jumping into one of those things." But it's crazy how like there's all these different technologies and pills and all these things you can take, but like the remedy just
Cold water.
jump into a big thing of cold water and
Yeah.
it kills you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we actually just did it. We started a podcast recently, this past week.
Yeah, we haven't launched it yet.
We haven't launched it yet,
Spoiler.
but
ooh.
it's to come, and we put a bunch of episodes in the can, and one of them was
Not your can, Frank. They
Thank
were
you.
not in your can.
not,
So
yeah,
keep your fingers out of your butt.
not you, Pop Tart. But we did one on like the benefits of the cold plunge and the recovery of that, and why people advocate for that and why we decided to put it in our school and things like that. And yeah, it's crazy how much it's kind of changed our lives. Obviously, the euphoric feeling and the bumps and bruises and things like that, but also, like, as you know, Bobby, like just doing something that is hard and like people don't want to do, and like there's never a time where it's easy where I'm like, yeah, I want to go jump in this water right now. Like I know that Renee and I have to definitely like talk ourselves up and be, okay, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this every single time. It never gets easier.
It never ceases to amaze me, my to-do list, how quickly it will grow as I step up to that tub. Like, I can go like, scrub the toilet right now.
I in my car real quick.
Instead of jumping into this tub. But I mean, I don't wrestle. I don't think we've said that yet. I don't wrestle. But I love the cold plunge. It has changed my life as well. Just working
Totally
two full-time jobs, mom, wife, all the things, and managing everything. My stress level it's hard to maintain sometimes. And it's really, really helped me just provide more mental clarity and focus, and just trying to start my day off with that thing. It definitely makes it better.
Yeah. The benefits of the cold plunge go well beyond pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
Joe Rogan has said, good God, going way back. But recently I heard him say something about, he does it because there was somebody on his show who was saying, it was Eddie Bravo. And Eddie Bravo was saying like, you're not, he doesn't really do them. And he said, Joe, you can't actually like him. And he was like, what I love about it is that I do something difficult first. That's the start of my day.
Yep.
And that's, I think, what it is. Like you said, Renee, is it's not easy, and it never really gets much easier, but you still do it, and it changes your day. Your day is going to be different after that 5 minutes.
Yep, absolutely. And it's kind of the eat the frog mentality. Like if if you did one of the hardest things in the beginning of the day, then you won the morning and you can do more hard things throughout the day. So it is a mindset thing, definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then you guys also have a sauna there, so you get the contrast. I mean, again, I think it's a game changer. I think that it's let's say that even your trainees don't utilize these things as often. They still are being introduced to the importance of it. And that's going to give them longer careers. That's going to give them, this is one of the things that an idea that I came to you guys with was doing a DDP yoga session for your students because of just the generosity of the man is ridiculous. I mean, Dallas is truly, I don't want to be, overly dramatic, but he's like, I mean, he lives like Jesus. It's crazy how generous the man is.
Mm-hmm.
But I do truly believe in the fact that DDP yoga will add years to your career. It'll add quality of life to you just getting older, which we are all doing. So, yeah, I mean, I think your focus on recovery is one of one.
Yeah, and obviously, the body isn't made to do all the stupid things that us pro wrestlers do. So the more that we can mitigate all those effects, the better. And like you said, the different modalities, whether it's a cold plunge or the infrared sauna or, the Theragun or the Normatec boots or the electronic stim, or just making sure that we do everything properly with good form and warming up properly and stretching and down properly, and the DDP yoga, like we want it to be all encompassing because we want to not only prolong our careers, but like when I'm 45, 50, I still want to be able to, get down on the floor with my grandkids and play and not have to worry about my knees and get.
You better not have a grandkid at 45.
Yeah. But
it can happen.
Hey, well, it could.
I know a guy. I know a guy that's I don't know how old he is, but he's a granddad this year. Yeah, wait, I do. Of course I know how old he is. He's my age. Yeah, he's
there you
46, go. Gonna be 47. You guys don't know him.
208.
He sounds like a great guy though.
Yeah, he is. I think. I don't know. We don't talk much anymore.
Great friend, great man.
Hey, things happen. All right. So one of the other things, so catch this segue, Frank. Catch this segue. One of the other things that I think is totally unique about the House of Champions is the fact that Renee was a marketing major.
Yes. Well, kind of. Do you want me to take it, Bobby?
You can take it. Yes.
Bring it home.
This leads to the fact that at House of Champions, they help with there's a whole, section on marketing, and specifically like the one day I was there, it was all social media stuff. And I'm like, man, I think I need to stop working out and sit down.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
I forgot you were there for our marketing session. Yes. So you were close. My bachelor's degree is in music business. So it is a business degree. I had a big old dream of moving to Nashville and being a big old record executive one day at a label.
That's not a bad dream. Nashville's supposed to be a great place to live.
Well, we lived there for 8 years. That was where we lived before we moved down here to chase the wrestling dream. And I did work in the industry for 6 years doing a lot. We'll just say that.
That business, by the way, is a shrinking industry. So you might have made a good choice.
In some and I was in the songwriting aspect too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that one there, that's a whole nother podcast. They lots of going on there. But decided to leave that industry and, for lack of a better reason, try to go make some money, and took my marketing degree, which really what it is, a music business degree is essentially a marketing degree. It's a few credits shy, and took it more corporate. So I ended up working at a small job in between, but I've been at a corporate CPG company for the last 5 years, working marketing for them, and I still currently do that. Actually, that is my
Oh, okay.
full-time job.
Wow, so you're
So
burning both ends of the candle too.
Oh yeah,
that's an understatement.
You got a little more wrestler in you than you think you do.
she's a hustler.
All right, there's a dirty joke there, guys. I know.
Nope.
There's a
Nope.
okay.
So if you come in by, that's usually what I'm doing in the office at
Dirty
the
jokes.
gym. No,
Yes.
not
That's what makes Hog different. Her dirty joke.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd say, Jamie, you're a lucky guy. Dirty jokes, not a bad thing.
I love dirty jokes.
All right.
I'm just
Yeah, so-
have it in their system.
I think, like I said before, Renee, that truly is even, I'd say probably more than the recovery and stuff. The element that it makes House of Champions very much like a one of one, because especially I think also with the kids coming up today, this younger generation is very, sort of familiar with social media. More so than my generation. I fought in the Civil War, so
Twice.
it
Twice.
goes right. I was in
For which side?
Both. Actually.
Yeah, I was a traitor. Yeah,
Did the heel turn.
I did. I started babyface and then went heel. Yeah. But yeah, and that was, I think the little bit that I caught that time. You were going over some of the social media stuff, and I think that like that's stuff that these kids, I keep calling them kids, but they're going to gravitate towards, because they already know they already have a good foundation of it. So if you can show them how to like perfect this, and let's face it, I mean, that's where the industry's going, that's where everything's going, that's where entertainment is going to live. So yeah, I mean, it's just another reason to go to House of Champions, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a huge pillar of what we offer. I mean, it is one of the main things. And we have on Thursdays, as you know, is our special class day. It's half in ring, half out. And one of those Thursdays, the fourth Thursday of every month, is marketing class. So that's coming up this week. Yep, this week. And so the first one you saw was social media, where we went through all of the platforms. I mean, I went through LinkedIn and told them how they should use it as a wrestler. I went through Pinterest, ones you wouldn't expect. And I'm not saying to spend a large majority of your time there, but knowing about it and how to use it to your advantage, I think it's beneficial to them. And then we did a deep dive that day into Instagram specifically, since that is, the hot one. I'm guessing TikTok will be next, where I should do a deep dive. But yeah, helping them understand how to use it, how to leverage it. But I took it back last month a little bit further, and we discussed branding in depth a little bit more, because I told them, I can tell you all day how to run Instagram, and I can tell you how to create content, but you're going to come to me and say one day, Renee, what should I post? And I'm going to say, who are you? And if you can't answer that, I can't tell you what to post. We've stepped back a lot, and now we're working on the branding aspect. And it's interesting in wrestling because, I mean, essentially your character is your brand, and your brand is you, and you are your personal brand. It's all like this. Whereas a lot of times like other people get separated, but it's not so in this industry. So we went through what is branding, how is it different from marketing, because it is different, and what sets the foundation for really your character. There's 6 questions that actually this month we'll have them answer the questions, but we introed the questions last month that I'd like them to answer. And one of them, just an example, is like, what's the emotion you want to evoke? Like when people see your name, how do you want people to feel? And I want them to get it down to the one emotion. Like, yeah, of course there's probably a few, but like, what's the main one? Yeah. And then we always break down, big wrestlers, successful wrestlers as well. And it's crazy how quickly they can answer those. We threw Charlotte Flair up there. Oh yeah, boom, 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 boom. I was like, okay, that's why it's important, because you're going to be faced at an indie show with a promoter that tells you to go out there and do something that you're like,
Mhm.
oh, that sounds pretty cool. But
Yeah.
is it who you're trying to be? And I'm not obviously telling them to go, make all the promoters mad. But I think it's important to know who you are, what your character is, and what they would do in every situation. So I need them to start like at the very beginning. And that's just answering these really foundational questions of who they are as a person and where they want their character to go.
Well, and I think that the content you're talking about is, you really can't put a price on that, because for them to get directed to start thinking this way this early, because what they're gonna learn, and Jamie, I would imagine you probably have experienced similarly, but like, it's a process. Like, you're gonna develop into that, and there's stuff, God, through all the iterations. I mean, I was Jerk Jackson, I was Big in Japan, Bobby Fish, I was, and none of them stuck, but I had to go through that process to eventually get to what did. And these students of yours are going to, I'm sure, go through a similar process. Jamie, you're probably in the midst of it as we speak. And what's actually going to stick, it may be a deviation, or it may be like a total 180, but having those questions posed to you from somebody this early in your career can only pay dividends down the road.
Yeah, and especially you might be pretty similar to me, but like a lot of these guys are having these questions posed to them while they're still like learning roles and like learning bumps and things like that. Like I remember my mentality, right or wrong, looking back is wrong, but my mentality was like, okay, I'm going to learn all these moves, then I'm going to learn how to wrestle, then I'm going to go out and wrestle these shows, and then I'm going to get my character.
Yeah.
For your first year or so, you're just this, most of the time, just this white meat baby face. Yeah, this clap and get everywhere. We're pick him out of line. He's the same as this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, because they don't have a character. They haven't thought about that. All they're thinking about is getting the drop kick right, or the arm drag right, or which has its spot in its place, obviously. But what we have found, and I'm sure that you found that too, what separates that from any other indie guy, what separates the guy that will stand up, is his ability to tap into that character and connect with the audience.
I 100% agree. I think, but some of that comes with also just you need a certain amount of repetitions.
You do.
And there is no substitute for those reps in front of a crowd. And that can be in front of a crowd of 10 people or 10,000 people with an opponent. And you kind of start to get that ebb and flow. And when you're doing that, like, some of your character, or whatever you want to call it, starts to come out in those opportunities where, okay, move, I'm in control, I got, and instead of going to the next move, maybe something in the front row catches my eye and I go over and I talk some shit or something. Those are things that, like, you until you start doing, you're not going to realize where they fit, why they're important. And then honestly, like, I'm just speaking from my experience, that's when I started to actually figure out who I was.
Yes.
All the stuff that I and I think that's not to downplay that, because I think these questions that you're asking now, to get them to start thinking that way, if they're doing it this early, they may come to that experience way sooner.
Yeah. We want them to have these questions answered and at least have an idea of who they think that they want to be. So then when they're out in front of people, they know what to try out and they know what hits, doesn't. It might be like, man, I thought this was going to be the perfect character, and it went out and it was the worst. I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. But same thing, I totally agree. Like, you can have a million practice matches at a facility or at a PC or whatever, but nothing at all substitutes for going out in front of a paying crowd and an opponent and learning on the job. Just like, you know, in the NFL, it's like people don't just practice their entire career. They have to go out and play games, and that's how they're graded, and that's how they get better.
Right.
You know, practice is where you can work on the fundamentals and things like that and try new things, try new plays, whatever. But the true magic happens when you're out there and you're actually working. So something I said earlier today to the students is I was like, you know, our facility is where you learn how to wrestle, but when you go out into shows, that's where you learn how to work. So that's the difference there.
Yeah. It's go ahead.
I would say I didn't use it, but now I'm thinking about it. I should, you know, those questions will evolve.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, how many rounds of questions could Mick Foley answer, right? Like I should do one for each of his characters just for them to show them. Like this doesn't have to stay. Like you don't pick it, set it and forget it. Like it evolves.
Right. It evolves. That's the key.
Yeah, but we want them to start thinking about it now. And then when we go into improv night, which is the week before marketing night, we ask them to try and emulate their character in improv night. Like, okay, let's think about like, what are you trying? Are you trying to make me mad? Okay, like that's what you told me last week. So let's do that this week. And maybe it doesn't come naturally, and we need to rethink it. Maybe you're like, oh, that didn't feel good at all. Like, let's try something else next week. Okay, let's do it. Like this is where you make mistakes.
I think that's what you're doing, and the students almost don't need to know the actual like nuts and bolts of what's happening. They think they're coming up with their character that's going to be their character for the rest of their career. You know that it's going to evolve and it's going to change, and it may be completely different, the one that makes them $1 million as opposed to the one that they come up with today. But they've got to fail 10 times at the ones that they come up with, and then just start to lose the inhibitions, because that one that's awful, that you look like an asshole in front of all your peers, and now it's the worst day of your life, but you release that fear of it, and you're like, okay, well, it can't be any worse than that. So, so I think you really, it's trusting the process. It is trusting the process. And I love the fact that you guys got this process, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see.
Yeah. And the week before improv, we do promo night, where people can come and try out a new character in different scenarios and cut their promo and things like that. And, we encourage them to try something maybe different every week instead of coming with the same exact promo every month, just to, like you said, get everything out on paper and see what sticks and what doesn't. Yeah. You don't know what you like and what you don't like until you try it.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
You know what we got to do? I'm going to put everybody on the spot right now. We need to have a couple students on the podcast.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a good idea.
I don't know who you didn't just put me on the spot by saying that, though. You just said you're going to put everybody on the spot.
I wanted to make a broad statement. You're part of this group.
I don't have
if you're putting everybody, you'd be putting them on the spot if you were like, yeah, go get them now.
Yeah.
I just asked them a question. They could have been off put by it. Like, no, I'm not putting them on this shit
Frank,
show.
Have you been drinking again today?
It's past my bedtime.
All right.
Yeah,
I got to work out in a couple hours.
All of Frank's good thoughts have already been spent, so
we get the shit.
We got B-roll Frank tonight.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, we get the JV Frank.
No, they come on the show. We test them out.
Whatever. All right, so Jamie.
All right, goodbye, George Jackson.
Jesus.
You said earlier today. So you had class today.
Yes, sir.
Share with us, if you will. Just a typical I'm gonna say a typical day in the House of Champions. But what was specifically like today? Is there anything that you could get into just to for anybody that's out there wondering, like, I'm looking for a school and I'm thinking about coming there?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a pretty special weekend for us because Keikoa and I were part of a show last night in Deltona, which is half hour, 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And we were able to come out, and we were the heels, and we came out with our army behind us, which was the entire the entire House of Champion members.
Oh, cool.
very cool.
Which is how many?
We had
Well,
15.
yeah.
Well, we have 21 members, but we had 15 of them there with us last night.
Okay, nice. That's
So
big.
we did the whole like
Yeah.
they lined the rows like the Cenas at WrestleMania where we
Yeah.
walked on the row, and like they were there like our foot soldiers, and we were able to come out in the main event, and we all put the boots to the baby face and set up something for a couple months from now. And it was
Very
super
cool.
cool because some of these guys, it was the first time in front of a crowd, first time in an indie show. We've got some guys that have worked matches or been in the business for a couple years, but other guys, like their first time in a ring was with us 4 months ago up until 2 weeks ago. So just to see the look on some of these guys' faces, how they just felt like it was WrestleMania for them.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
great.
super cool because we get jaded and we're like, oh man, well there's only 150 people here. You know what I mean? Like it's just so dumb because we need to look at those kids and be like, oh, did you see how like that guy booed me? That was so cool. And I was like, man, I wish I still had that like childlike wrestling awe that they have. So it's cool to kind of check yourself once in a while with that. So we started class today, going back to your question, kind of going with our takeaways, things that they learned being in the first like official indie show, whether it's loading up the ring or setting chairs up or being backstage. And it was a nice venue. It was like a reception kind of venue, like a ballroom type deal. And I was like, man, y'all don't know how good you have it, because for my first year, I was wrestling in pole barns with dirt floors. You know what I mean? So I was like, it ain't, you guys have it better than you think. And it ain't always going to be like this because it is the indies. This is the better half of the indies.
Yeah.
So
I put over President Lincoln in my first match.
You said you were in the Civil War. So, I mean, there you go.
The boys know that. The boys know that. We've talked about that.
Yeah. Well, that's very kind of you to do the job for old Honest Abe. Yes, I love it. But so we went over that and just questions about that, and then so the way our classes are going to work now is we have 2 hours for our intermediate / advanced students who can do practice matches or who have already matches under their belt and they want to run, advanced drills or getting ready for their first match, you're almost ready to go out there and start working shows. So that'll be from like 5 to 7, and then 7 to 9 will be our beginner classes. So where they're still learning the rolls and the bumps and the fundamentals, running the ropes, how to lock up, chain wrestling, things like that. So we just really want to have a specialized 2 hours dedicated to each type of member. So that's Mondays and Tuesdays from 5 to 7, 7 to 9.
So we just announced that
today.
So you're adding to the schedule.
Yeah, so we're adding an extra hour and splitting up our members between intermediate and or advanced and beginner.
Okay. And then the idea, I would assume, is to feed new members in, and you have established that beginner class, but then you're not, I don't want to say holding up the progress, but it's kind of a way to describe if you do have, pro wrestling comes in phases. And if you have ones that are ready to, move to the next phase, and then others that, are not, it can get a little bit difficult.
Yeah, and we want to be a school that like listens to our members and wants feedback and things like that. And we were kind of getting the sense, and we actually got some feedback that a lot of the advanced guys and gals felt like they weren't getting the same reps because they had to wait for the guys to get the rolls down and get the bumps down. And we're like, we don't want to hold you back, especially because you guys are paying to be here, and we don't want to waste your time. So that's when we kind of came together and decided to kind of split it up. So the advanced will go first, and the beginners are welcome to be at the class and watch the advanced.
Sure.
And then
they should.
Yeah,
they should.
Absolutely. And we encourage that. And then so when the beginners go after the advanced class, the advanced can stay and work on things with the beginners if they wanted to join that class.
Yeah. Well, that kind of puts the ball in their court
Exactly.
as a member. So like I think it speaks to the quality of like, yeah, this is a good place. This isn't, they're not trying to, jerk anybody's chain. They're not trying to get one over on anybody there. It's like, it's sincere and it's real. And I think that that's not always the case in pro wrestling. So again, you guys are being unique.
Something we tell them actually right after the first class is Nick asks them, what's your goal? And then whatever they say, we're like, well, usually we try to challenge them a little bit more to shoot a little bit higher. People tend to undersell their goals, but we say, well, that's ours. That's our goal too. Like now that's become ours. And that's what we want to get. Like, if you want to be WWE champion, all right, sign up. Like we're ready to do it. You want to be,
that's cool.
The best indie wrestler in Florida because you want to just do this on the weekends. We're in. Like, all right,
cool.
let's go.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we're doing right by them and what they're working towards.
Yep. And our memberships, they don't expire. Like as long as you want to be with us, we want you to be with us. It's not a 3 month or 2 month or even a year, whatever. Like it's a career long membership as long as you want, but it's also like a friendship and part of our family. We want you to want to do life together.
I will add, because I don't know if we've told you this, Bobby, is, we got to 21. Another big reason we split the classes was 21 people in one class was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was too much. Not that all of them were showing up at once, but we were beginning to feel like, all right, we need to split. Yeah. But we are going to cap our membership probably around 30. We won't go above. So we have 9 spots left just because we do give a lot of personalized attention to every single wrestler. Like that's what we want to do. Whether it's in the ring or we have staffed hours. So there's always someone coming in the office wanting to talk about marketing, social media. We do office hours once a month where they get an hour of our time. They tell us what they want to talk about. And we don't want to have more than we can handle and serve appropriately. We'll probably cap around 30.
Well, I mean, what it sounds like to me is that you guys are focused on, for lack of a better term, the customer service of this. And that to me says that like, okay, you guys are gonna grow and you have no choice but to grow. But I love the fact that right now you're seeing it as, okay, this could be a problem. So instead of like, yeah, well, of course we want to grow because we need to make more money. Like you're seeing kind of the long game and go, okay, well, if the quality's there, it's going to grow anyway. So I don't need to be grabbing all the money right now. That's a short sale. That's short-minded. You guys, I love that you're in it for the long game.
Yeah, and we, not only that's definitely a main aspect, but also like we want to have people that fit our culture and our atmosphere. And we've had people come in, first timers, that were like, we almost kind of didn't sell them as hard as others because we're like, yeah, that's cool, but we just don't really feel like you would fit into this family, and we don't want anybody coming in and ruining what we have. Not that they would, but.
And I wouldn't say the only thing that wouldn't fit really is just like if your heart's not in it. That's really the only like qualifier I'd say is do you really want this? Because we're gonna like work our tail off to get you what you want. So you better really want it.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, I haven't been in the industry as long as I have. You're doing them a favor by forcing that on them, because if you don't really want this and you don't really love it, like it's not worth, the juice is not worth the squeeze, so to speak. But if this is what you want to do, it certainly is. But you're going to hear no a lot. You're going to get told things that hurt your feelings. You got to just learn to develop some thick skin and soldier on.
Absolutely. And, we talk about, we're inviting and welcoming people in the family atmosphere. I don't want that to be misconstrued and think that like we're handing out participation trophies either, because we are still extremely hardworking and we demand excellence and greatness, which means trying things as hard as you can and to the best of your ability, and just being a good soldier, showing up early, staying late, whatever needs to be done to get the work done, and with a good positive attitude, because we're not going to streamline people or fast track people just because they've been there long enough. Like a common saying for us is like, we don't do things until we get them right. We do them until we can't get them wrong. So we want to have that foundation. We want to have the fundamentals. We want to be 100% ready to go until we move on to the next thing. Number one, because of safety, we don't want somebody going out there and doing shows with, doing moonsaults and things like that when they don't even know how to properly bump, because that happens a lot on the indies.
It
because
really
like,
does.
So-and-so for 3 months, and so that means I'm ready to go. And also, we are trying to teach them life lessons as well in wrestling, because wrestling's dumb and you can get heat for sneezing. You know what I mean? Like stupid things that I wish I was told when I first started out, and I had to learn it the hard way. We're not coddling these kids, but we're kind of putting an arm around them and saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's a few tips of the trade. Here's some pro tips.
Right.
And
there's
also
some tough love there in the house.
There's a lot of tough love, and that's good, because we're not just all warm and fuzzy and cuddly. And also to piggyback off of that, when they go out to these shows, they represent us. They represent the House of Champions, and we represent our faith. We represent Christ. So we want to live life the right way, and we want our members to reflect that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm all aboard for all of that. That was the vibe. I was going back to the vibe, but that was what I picked up being there anytime I have been. And I just don't see how you can go wrong if that's what you're leading with. And I think I think I said it in something that I wrote. I think it might have been something I wrote for you guys for the DDP. We're doing DDP Thursday.
We're
doing a DDP session Thursday, and I think it was something that I might have mentioned in that, but it was just the fact that you guys are you're just doing it. You're doing this business right. You're doing it in the way that it needs to be put forward, and I don't want to come off like an old codger here, but the tough love is there. So you're not coddling, but at the same time, there's some things from back in the day, like, okay, well, we're going to break this guy's leg because, we need to know that he's going to stick it out. I mean, that's what happened to Hulk Hogan. That's where Hulkamania came from, Frank.
Brother.
Broken leg. So obviously those things have gone away for the most part in the industry, but I feel like that's a balance that you guys strike really well, is that you're not coddling these kids, but you are, you got to learn. This shit ain't easy.
Yeah. And we actually talked about it today in our meeting about how this next generation, now I sound like an old guy, about how like they're so, a lot of them, there's a lot of entitlement. There's a lot of
yes.
There's no delayed gratification. They're like, I want it yesterday because I can get everything right now, and I deserve everything right now. So we have to play to that, because we are a business, and we don't want to, number one, not adapt with the times, and because that's how businesses fail. But we still want to keep our core values and our convictions and the way that we think that things should happen, but just, I guess, with a new age twist, if that makes sense.
Every generation thinks the next one's entitled.
Of course.
So, yeah, that's what we talked about. We're like, whether or not we agree with it, like this is how they're going to react. Mm-hmm. So we need to adapt.
Yep. While still keeping our identity.
Yes.
Yeah, and it just becomes the truth, and you start to realize, like, oh, okay, well, I'm in this new locker room, and like, it's not the locker room that I came up in, and I need to recognize that, like, I'm the guest now. I'm the visitor, because there's more of you than there are of me. So I gotta, you just gotta get in line. And I'm not even mad at it. Like, just it's the business has evolved, and if you aren't going to evolve, then you will cease to exist in the business.
I'm telling you, man, I've never felt so old as when like you've got a bunch of 20-year-olds as members, and the stuff that they talk about. I'm like, first of all, what are y'all even talking about?
Right. I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I try to be hip. See,
Yeah.
that's about as hip as I can be. Ain't no hip.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, so what's upcoming for y'all at House of Champions at this point that you're excited about?
We've got a seminar with a guy you may have heard of.
On September 30th.
I swear, that wasn't a loaded question. I swear. Or maybe it was. It
Maybe
was.
it was.
Frank.
It worked either way.
Frank told me, Frank said before we get on, he was like, you got to do this.
Well, our second seminar, yes, September 30th with you.
Yes.
The one and only.
Yes.
Jerk Jackson, baby.
Not for nothing. That was not a loaded question. Bobby forgot. He just.
I did.
That's why we're here.
Yes, I forget everything. I did. Listen, I remember DDP yoga.
Well, it's next Thursday, by the way, not this Thursday, so don't show up this.
Oh.
I mean, you can show up, but
okay.
So, yeah, September 30th. I'm very excited to host Mr. Bobby Fish for our second seminar. We do them quarterly, so that'll be a Saturday, and we've got tickets still on sale. So anybody who's interested to come out and pick the brain of the genius,
please. So
Frank's going to be there.
I'm coming down, baby. Coming down.
All right, Frank. Awesome. I expect to see you in your underwear.
My Laney Pop will get up.
Or that. I didn't know you had a Laney Pop get up.
I'll find one.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just his cap and gown from high school graduation. That's
Yeah. Just as a little teaser, I'm going to put out there for the seminar. If there's anybody listening, so I will get into a number of different things. We will get into a number of different things. But one of the things that I would focus a bit on is striking, and as it pertains to pro wrestling, not what I think some people think of is like, oh, okay, well, if your style is that, like martial arts, which is obviously mine and stuff, but I think that there's still an importance that needs to be paid to just, a regular, a non-martial arts gimmick, and the importance of having a few really good strikes that look appropriate and look right. And there's just different ways that over 20 some odd years of doing this that I've come to realize that these things buy you time to do other things, and sometimes in wrestling, especially when we're walking and talking, and this is a part of the business that is, it's evolved into there's a lot less working going on in a lot more spots, but the need to be able to work is still there. And I think that, proficiency when it comes to strikes, even if it's one or two that, I mean, at the end of the day, they have to look good, and that's different to each person, but I just think they're so valuable. And the longer I've done this, the more I think that is so. And so that'll be definitely part of what'll be covered in the seminar. So yeah, I don't know. That's
Our members are excited.
Yes, they are.
So.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. That makes me so happy. I'm excited about even the DDP thing. I can't wait to teach a class. I've been doing it here for months, and it's just pretty much me in the mirror, and I've been trying to con my wife and my 10-year-old into doing a class with me. But
man, my body needs it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, my body feels so much better.
It looks better too.
Yeah, well, Frank, I sent you those pics.
Oh boy!
In your Lenny,
Frank and I have a special relationship. But Yeah. But I do. So trying to get this, working on my certification with DDP yoga. I've been doing it. I was doing it a good amount before anyway, but I almost do it daily at this point. And I am astonished at how much better my body feels with that being one of my main training modalities.
So do you still like go off of the videos, or do you create your own workouts, or how does that work?
Well, so I've been sticking pretty close to because of the training to get my certification for the level 1, it's a particular progression. So you will be able to deviate from that once you have it. But I've been sticking pretty close to the vest with it because I want to have my certification squared away. And, part of it too, and this was something because I did some DDP yoga in a seminar that I did this weekend. And part of it too is like Dallas paid honor to many of the guys coming up when he was coming up. Like, I think anybody who knows yoga, there's a warrior stance, there's warrior position, and he calls it road warrior. And road warrior is to harken back to Hawk and Animal, both, passed away, and it honors them. And some of the stuff, he has another thing where he has you flex and hulk it up as Hogan, right? And so I know when I was first exposed to it, I kind of like some of it felt a little goofy. Like it felt kind of, it's kind of corny. But you know what? It's not. It's paying homage to those that came before us. And like the room that I'm going to be in on next Thursday, that Renee was kind enough to inform me of, these are all people who love pro wrestling. So if you can't get down with that, then I don't know, maybe you're in the wrong room. And who am I?
Or you got 2 words for him.
Where I thought he was going.
That's right. That was mine too.
Well, and who am I to not do it the way that Dallas designed it?
Mm-hmm.
So I do all the hook it up, and I'm doing all of it because that's just, I'm not going to take his baby and make it something that's not. So,
no, yeah. No,
so get ready, Jamie, because there's going to be some hooking it up. And
I'm going to do it too. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Nice.
Oh, it'll be a blast.
Nice.
Gals will get a kick out of it for sure.
Yeah. I can't wait, man. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I truly do believe. And I don't want to turn this into a DDP yoga infomercial, but I truly do believe that it will add years to guys and girls' careers. And I mean, we came from no pain, no gain, and obviously we know that's not a way for to make a fruitful life.
No. Definitely.
Yeah.
All
right.
We've got another
awesome
thing that we've just kind of dipped our toes into. That's kind of Renee's baby, so I'll let her.
This is my baby.
Going on here?
Well, with the capping of the members, that does, from a business perspective, limit profitability a bit. And I've had an idea brewing since we started talking about this, and a few people came out to our soft opening that clearly just wanted to play wrestler, and I don't blame them. Of course, every kid has, even me, I watched it growing up. Every kid has that dream getting in the ring, and the amount of wrestlers that we've seen come through that they just kind of stand there when they see the ring, and they're just in awe when they see it. Oh my gosh, a wrestling ring! This is my dream.
I would have been that way when I was a kid.
I see this magic in their eyes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how can we got to do something. We got to do something. So we're launching a program in September called RWE, the Real Wrestling Experience. And it's going to be a 3-hour course open to the public, catered for corporate team building groups, bachelor parties.
Oh, that's awesome.
birthday
Holy.
parties.
We got a church group.
We have a church group, a small group coming in. Basically, any group, it's like a group activity
Right.
that's focused on team building and communication. We have our wrestlers running it because I'm a firm believer in you learn better when you teach it.
Yeah.
So they have run 3 trial runs so far and just have done amazing.
Mhm.
The joy that we have seen on these people's faces because they're running a full match, guys. Like we take them.
So how it works is basically we bring them in and we teach them how to get in the ring and the etiquette and things like that. We teach them a few strikes, a few very low impact moves.
Yeah, basic.
We put them in a Royal Rumble type situation to where
Oh my God, that's awesome.
they get to have entrances. Like we have a whole wardrobe section.
Yeah, nice.
Their music,
Oh
they get
man.
their character, their moniker, their nickname or whatever. They get to come out to that entrance. They get to we put together the whole match and run through it, and then we film it, and then we get to send it off to them and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have the full entrance with lights, PA system,
We've got a
fog
fogger,
machine.
yeah.
It's a full production
Man.
for them. It's just a memory that they'll never
Wow.
forget. And the quotes coming out of it have been so good. We had one girl that knew nothing about wrestling and left said, I just have a
Sure.
whole new appreciation for wrestling. Like I kind
Right.
of want to watch it now.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the last guy we had just a wrestling fiend his whole life, and he said, you helped me live out I'm 49 years old and you helped me live out a dream I've had since I'm a kid. So
Just for a day to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
How can you not feel good about that?
That's
Somebody
awesome.
says that to you. How do you not go home feeling like, man, life is good.
It's so cool because it's one of the other things that we didn't even foresee until we're like, man, this would be cool.
Yeah.
And we thought, well,
Yeah.
people be into that, and then just like she said, to see the people having fun and
Yeah.
people that you wouldn't ever think that would have fun. The first time we had this, it was the girl, and she looked like she worked out, but I mean, she didn't look like a wrestling fan, and she said she'd never watched wrestling before, but she got in there and she had a pink cowboy hat and boas, and she had the time of her life.
Right.
Really cool.
yeah, so cool. So we're really excited to launch that and get that going.
Yep.
Well, I mean, all I can say to that is that you guys have just furthered the bar as the one of one.
It's like a wrestling fantasy camp. Like baseball has baseball fantasy camp. That's what it is. That's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, that's brilliant. I
really
am
is.
blown away by how brilliant of an idea that is, especially considering that you're capping it so that the quality is still there, but you found and let's say this thing doesn't work and falls flat on its face at some point, but you came up with another okay, well, we got to think outside the box here.
Yep.
And I just applaud that, man. That's incredible.
We got
Good
this
for you.
beautiful facility that isn't being used on Fridays and Saturdays. So we're like,
Yeah.
well, I know what happens on Fridays and Saturdays. There's a bunch of tourists in Orlando, Florida. So let's bring them
This
in.
is true.
I mean,
good.
we want it to be on par with an escape game or
Yep.
things like that.
Yeah.
Come to Orlando to do silly fun things, shoot machine guns, flying helicopters,
Right.
escape games. Why not be a wrestler for a day?
Just makes sense.
Hell yeah. Wow. That is such a great idea, man. I am blown away. I am floored. I am floored by this. That is incredible, man.
Well,
You
if y'all
guys
know
really-
anybody who'd be interested, send them our way.
Frank.
Bobby might be interested in it.
I'll be down in March of next year, so
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yep.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, bring Rocco.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Frank has a Pop-Tart up there in the top box there. He's got a crush on LA Knight.
I wouldn't call it a crush. I mean,
your wife? I would. I'd call it a crush.
So we have a member that all he does is just an LA Knight impersonation, and he's probably the guy that if we were to bring a guy in the podcast, it'd be him.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
It's
so
please. Yeah. All right, we gotta schedule this. If you
we need to have an LA night off.
Yeah, well, Frank is our resident impersonator as well.
Okay.
His impersonations are awful.
Christ.
Freak out. Oh, yeah, brother.
Yeah, case in point.
Yep.
Not sure who that was. Could have been Andre. Could have been Hogan. Who knows?
A little bit of everybody.
Hawk.
For our school, like we probably, how many times do they say, yeah? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
times a night, probably. Yeah.
I mean, the guy's over, and
Oh, yeah, he
that's why
is.
like some of the heat that like the flack he's catching, and it's like it's such a unique experience to get over. It's nobody can put a real like finger on it and go, oh, this is exactly what it is.
Yep.
So if you're getting over, like, how can anybody knock that? It's so nuanced to actually get there. So like, I just applaud the man. Frank loves him. So
I see that.
even though I don't like Frank, I can
Frankly
still
speaking.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's so we'll have to get him on
Frankly.
and y'all can go at it for an hour.
Yeah, that'd be good. But making out, Frank.
Yes.
We want to see you and this student make out.
Make out. I think my wife might have a issue with that.
Well, it's not a girl.
I don't think you
my
have to
God.
make out with the guy, Frank.
Okay.
I don't think that's prerequisite.
You can.
It's just,
I mean, we're not going to judge you.
It's up to you, Frank.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
Come on, participate, Frank. You get a participation trophy.
let's cross that bridge when we get to it. How about that? We'll see how the mood is.
He's handsome, so
Yeah. Well, all right. I've been there, so I may have seen the guy.
you probably have.
You have.
Probably.
I've been trying to find him a
Wow.
girlfriend. I think I found him one.
Hey.
Hey now.
Frank's married, though. Frank's married.
Aw.
He's boring and married, you know. He's married. He's married. He's got a cute son, too. Cute daughter, also. But Rocco, he he had what was that picture you sent me, Frank? He had the shark teeth mouthpiece.
He's got the Bobby Fish mouth guard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He had to shave his head.
It's a sore subject in there.
Beard, so
It's a sore subject
really?
in front of yeah.
Yeah.
Really? You shaved
asked.
his head?
I
And
asked.
the wife wasn't.
So I bring him to the barber. I said, "Hey, can we just go high and tight?" He goes back high and tight. There's gonna be some papers on the front on your desk.
That's bullshit because she can't do that fast. It takes a while.
Have you ever met my wife?
No, but I've been divorced twice.
Oh well.
No, but you have. You've met your wife.
I have, yes. I know what she's capable of.
Yes. Okay. Well,
That means that
I think everyone.
she's already got the papers.
can agree that.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy wife. It's
Yeah.
important. Easy important. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Our pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Anytime. You got more going on there, which I'm sure I'm waiting to see what you're going to come up with next. I really am blown away by the idea of that fan experience.
Genius.
And I already love the way that you're doing the school. Right down to you guys talked about this the first day that I visited. You were like, this is the first place we looked at.
Mhm.
And if you ever see the place, like, you're going to be like, what? Because it couldn't be any more perfect.
No,
for a wrestling
into
school.
our laps. Like
It wasn't on the
It
market.
wasn't even on the market. It was just a total
It's
god
crazy.
thing. This is meant to be.
Yeah.
Yep. No,
He's got a plan. It's on his
Absolutely.
schedule, not ours.
that's it.
Well, I think nothing but great stuff is to come for both of you. I love you guys. You're great people. What you've done with the school so far is a credit to the industry, in my opinion.
Thank you.
I think you're doing wrestling right, and that's what this industry needs.
Well, we appreciate it. Sometimes we wonder if we're doing it right. So to have somebody,
Being a business owner is,
it's
up and down, roller coaster.
Yeah, it's
So thank you for the kind
Yeah,
words.
no, that
We
means a
appreciate
lot
it.
coming from you. Absolutely.
You are on the ride, so I love it. Anything, any extra special stuff you'd like to mention before heading out? When are you wrestling again?
So I will be in St. Louis on Saturday and Sunday for NWA 75.
Nice, very nice, very
Yeah, and then
nice.
we'll be in Nashville the day after Monday and Tuesday for TV tapings. So tickets are still available for St. Louis, NWA 75. Just go to nwatix.com. So just get ready this week and tune in up for that, and it'll be a great weekend.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. I am happy for you. Please tell Kakoa we said hello. We missed him on this episode, but there's just not enough room on that screen there.
He's got a big old head.
Just enough room for you two.
That's it.
He's got what?
He's got a big old head, so he just take up space.
Yeah, and he's got cookies to make.
Go make those cookies for next
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank wants to try. Pop-Tart wants to try one.
Yep. Yoga and cookies. That sounds like a date.
Yep, yoga and cookies. Frank, that's your new nickname, Pop-Tart. It's not going away.
I thought you were gonna say his new nickname was Yoga and Cookies, because that would be even,
Not bad, eh?
that'd be even better.
Do you like that name better?
I like that one. That one's better. I like that. I could deal with that one.
Yoga and cookies.
Yoga and cookies.
Okay, well,
Nice.
we'll have
Like
to,
Yogi and
we'll have to
Boo Boo.
we'll look into that copyright.
All right.
Try to get some t-shirts
All right.
made. All right. Well, you guys go enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Wishing
Thank you.
nothing but the best.
Thank
God
you.
Yeah,
bless
thank you guys
the
so
two
much.
of
Love
you.
y'all, and God bless.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take it off, Dennis.
Wait.
Oh wait,
we're-
wait. Sorry. Yeah,
we gotta-
we gotta close it out. Okay.
Yeah, we have
Frank,
like an
let's
we have
go.
like an
Let's not
out
waste
in the
time.
show.
Yeah,
Like
we have right. I fell asleep.
Shocking.
I
Shocking.
fell asleep
Shocking.
for a second.
fuck it.
I've had a
Frank,
long day.
Jesus. Frank, what do you got?
The shirt that you're wearing, the shirt that I'm wearing, available right now on BobbyFishApparel.com. School's back in session. Get your clothes, kids.
Yeah.
Good school clothes. Come on, Frank. Get your good
You say
school
potato,
clothes.
I say potato.
No.
That's your
This
line.
is
That's your
my
line.
show.
That's your line, though. I'm not going to take your line.
Yeah, gotta have the good school clothes. I got my good school clothes on right now.
You smell.
Frank, I do smell. But you
What
can't
are you,
tell.
6?
Yeah, right. I expect that insult coming from Rocco, your son.
Yeah, well,
smell.
you smell.
Yeah, well, you smell.
Holy shit. Oh God.
Yeah, well, your face smells like hot dogs.
Oh, hot dogs.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Listen,
I don't
I
know.
don't have, I
Our
got
guests
nothing.
need to go. They don't want to be exposed to this
Nope.
Tomfoolery.
Foolishness.
Oh, Frank. Jeez.
All right.
We love it.
We just jinxed.
Yeah.
God. All right.
All right. Say
Go
goodnight,
ahead,
Bobby.
Dennis. Good night, Bobby.
Yeah. Good night.